Welcome to Impact Math with Miss Taylor. Alrighty, we're going to be doing substitution, algebra 2. So use substitution to solve. So when we're using the substitution method, what we want to do is solve one of the equations for a letter, okay? The equation that you're going to use is the one that kind of gives you the equation, the x or the y by itself. So we're going to start with this one here, okay? I want to get this x. I want to get this x by itself. So how I'm going to do that is I need to move this positive 2y to the other side. So I'm going to minus 2y, minus 2y. Then I'm going to drop down x equals, remember, these are not like terms, so we cannot combine those. So we're just going to write them horizontally. Negative 2y minus 12, okay? Now here, in this yellow box, that's what's going to plug into the first equation. We're going to substitute this box in for this x here. So we're going to do 8 parentheses. And I'm replacing this x, negative 2y minus 12, in here. So I'm going to do negative 2y minus 12. And then you have to write the rest of the equation. So I'm going to write minus 3y equals negative 1. And then what we can do is we can distribute this 8. So we're going to distribute the 8 here by doing 8 times negative 2, which is negative 16y. And then 8 times 12. Let's do this over here. 12 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. And then 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So we get negative 96. Okay. Minus 3y. Drop down the rest. Negative 1. Now we have some like terms here. We have a negative 16y. And we have a negative 3y that we can combine because they're on the same side of the equal sign. So we can do negative 16 minus 3. Then we're going to get negative 19y minus 96 equals negative 1. Okay, now this becomes a two-step equation. So we want to move this negative 96 over here to this side by doing the opposite of minus. So we're going to add 96 to both sides. And we get negative 19y equals 95. Because 96 minus 1 is 95. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 19. Okay. And we get y equals, let's take out our handy dandy calculator at this point, right? So 95 divided by 19. Let's see, we get negative 5. Because a positive divided by a negative is a negative always. And then we get 5. So this is our y. Now, remember, we still have an x to solve for. So we can plug this y, substitute it into this equation that we solved for x. So we can say x equals negative 2 times, because whenever you have a number attached to a variable or letter, they're multiplied together. So we could do negative 5 minus 12. So negative 2 times a negative 5 gets us a 10 minus 12. And then x equals negative 2. So how you write your solution for systems is you're going to put them as an ordered pair. So you're going to have negative 2, comma, negative 5. And that is our beautiful answer for these systems. That's where they intersect at. All right, I will catch you on the next one. Welcome back to Impact Math with Miss Taylor. All righty. Number 2 says use substitution to solve. Okay, so what we're going to do is when you're trying to use the substitution method, we're going to focus on this second equation. We want the x by itself. So how we get the x by itself is we need to move this positive 3y to the other side. We're going to do that by doing the opposite. So we're going to minus 3y to both sides. Now this cancels, and we drop down x equals. Now you see how these are not like terms. So since these are not like terms, we write them horizontally. So we're going to put negative 3y minus 6, okay? Now we take what our x equals, and we're going to plug it in to our first equation. We're going to plug it in there. So we're going to say 2 parentheses. Now why we're using parentheses is because 2 times a variable letter is always multiplied. So we have to show that with multiplication. And we're going to plug in this box here for the x. So we're going to put negative 3y minus 6. And then we copy the rest of the first equation. Minus y equals 9. So now we're going to distribute, okay? Because whenever you have a number attached to a parenthesis, you have to distribute. So what does that mean? We have to multiply. So 2 times negative 3 gets us negative 6y. 2 times negative 6 gets us negative 12 minus y equals 9. All right, now we're going to combine these, and we get negative 7y minus 12 equals 9. How do we get this negative 12 to the other side? Well, we do that by adding 12 to both sides. And we get negative 7y equals 9 plus 12 is going to be 21. And then whenever you have a number attached to a letter, they're multiplied together. So how do we undo multiplication? We divide. And we divide by whatever with the letter. So I'm going to divide by negative 7. So y equals negative 3. Okay, but be careful here. You just found your y. We still need to solve for our x. So we can plug this in, this negative 3 in to this equation here, and get x by itself. So we can get x equals negative 3 times a negative 3 minus 6. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive, and 3 times 3 is 9 minus 6. So x equals 3. So our solution, remember when you're writing solutions for systems, it has to be an ordered pair, is going to be your x first, 3 comma negative 3. And that is our beautiful answer. Alrighty, let's go to the next. Use substitution to solve. Alrighty, so for this one, they already gave us an equation where it was solved for a letter. And in this case, this is solved for y. So we can box this side, and then I'm going to replace this for this y into the first equation. So we can write this as negative 5x plus 2.5 times. Now you see I'm doing a parenthesis here because I have my y here. So that's telling me I'm plugging this in for the y. So I'm going to put 2x minus 11. Also remember, whenever you have a number attached to a letter, they're multiplied together. Okay, that's why we have to put those parentheses. Minus 15. All right, then we can start with distributing here. So we have negative 5x plus 2.5 doubled is 5x. So 2.5 times 2, $2.50 plus $2.50 is $5, okay? 2.5 times a negative 11. Let's see what that is. 2.5 times 11 is going to give us 2750. So negative 2750 equals negative 15. Alrighty, so if you look here, we have some like terms. We have a negative 5x plus a positive 5x. Those cancel. So we're left with negative 27.5 equals to negative 15. Since this is not true, that means this is a no solution. That means you don't have anything that you could plug in to make this true. So there's no solution to this. All righty, let's go to the next. Miss J is preparing a hydrochloric acid, HCl, solution. She will need 300 milliliters of a 5% HCl solution. If she has a 3.5% HCl solution and a 7% HCl solution, how much of each solution? Alrighty, so our first step is, we know we have two different solutions, but we don't know what they are. So when we don't know something, we're going to put x plus y, okay? We're putting x plus y because we have two different kinds. And we know we have 300 milliliters, okay? Now, if she has a 3.5, so we're going to put, but we want to change this to a decimal. So whenever you're changing your percent to a decimal, you have to divide it by 100. So this would be, if we divide 3.5 by 100, we would move this over. So let me show you up here. So it'll be 3.5, and we move it over 2 spaces to the left. So it'd be 0.35, okay, x plus, and we're gonna just take this, divide it by 100, 0.07y equals. Now, how we get our total here is she will need 300 milliliters of 5%. So we're gonna take this 300 and we're gonna times it by 0.05, okay? And now we have our two equations, okay? So let's try to simplify this a little bit more. Let's actually find out what this is. So 300 times 0.05 is going to give us 15. So we can rewrite this as, let's do x plus y equals 300. Then we have 0.035x plus 0.07y equals 15. All right, we're going to use the substitution method because we haven't learned the elimination method yet, okay? So if all we know is the substitution method, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this top equation here and solve for a letter. Now, we could solve for x or we could solve for y. It doesn't matter. You have to decide. I'm deciding to solve this for y. So what does that mean? I have to move this x to the other side. Well, how do I move the x to the other side? It's a positive. So what's opposite of a positive? Subtraction. So I'm going to subtract x to both sides. Well, these are not like terms, so don't start combining those. Whenever we don't have like terms, we write them right next to each other horizontally. So we have negative x plus 300. All right, we got our y solved for. Now I'm going to plug this in to my second equation for the y. All right, so we're going to do 0.035x plus 0.07. I'm going to put parentheses because I know this is times, and I'm plugging this in. Negative x plus 300 equals 15. And whenever we have a number attached to a parenthesis, that means multiply, distribute. So we're going to get 0.035x, and then a positive times a negative is a negative 0.07x. And then we have to do 0.07 times 300. and we get plus 21 equals 15. All right, we have some like terms here. Okay, so I'm going to move this over. So we're going to combine this. I'm going to move it up here. Okay, so 0.035 minus 0.07 is going to be negative 0.035x plus 21 equals 15. Now I have to get this plus 21 to the other side. So I'm going to minus 21 minus 21. And we get negative 0.035x equals 15 minus 21 is going to be negative 6. Okay. Remember, we want x by itself. So how do we get x by itself? Whenever you have a number attached to a letter, they're multiplied together. So we have to undo that by dividing. So I'm going to divide by negative 0.035 to both sides, and we get x equals, let's divide this by negative 0.035. And we get 171.4, and let's round it up, 3. Okay. All right. So now we can plug this in to here and then solve for our y. Okay. So we're going to plug this in. So let's highlight it. Let me show you. This is going to go in place of this x right here. So we have y equals, let me scoot up a little bit, negative 171.43 plus 300. And let's add, so let's do 300 minus 171.43, and we get y equals to 128.57 milliliters. And so remember, you write your answer as a solution. So our solution is going to be our x first, 171.43, comma, 128.57. And this is our beautiful answer. All righty, this was right? This one was putting in work. All right, we got one more word problem. Pause the video here, try it, see if you get it, and let's go to the next. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. All right, number 5. Miss Evelyn invested a total of $825 in 2 stocks. At the time of her investment, one share of a stock A was valued at $12.41, and a share of the stock B was valued at $8.62. She purchased a total of 79 shares. How many shares of each stock? So we know we have stock A and stock B. So let's say X plus Y, okay? This is going to be A, this is going to be B, equals. Now, how many shares did I buy total? I bought 79 shares. A total. So that means I bought all the shares I have is 79. Now, I have one stock that's $12.41 when I bought it. And another stock was at $8.62 when I bought it. I spent a total, so this is my money equation, this is my share equation, of $825. Alrighty, we're using, normally we would use elimination on this, okay? But we haven't, this is not the elimination lesson. So that's why we're doing substitution. If this is all you know, if this is all you're taught, substitution, I'm gonna show you how to do this, okay? So here we have this first equation. We have to decide which letter we want by itself, either the X or the Y. It does not matter. You have to make your choice and go with it. So I'm going to solve this for X. On the last problem I solved it for Y, this time I'm going to solve it for X, okay? So what does that mean? I need the X by itself. So how do I move this positive Y to the other side? Well, I can subtract Y to both sides. And then I get X equals, these are not like terms. We're not going to combine these. And whenever we can't combine something, we just write them horizontally, right next to each other. Plus, because this is a positive, 79. All right, so now I know what I'm going to plug in. I'm plugging this in for my second equation. So it's going to replace that. So I'm going to get 12.41 times negative Y plus 79 plus 8.62Y equals 825. Okay. And whenever we have a number attached to a parenthesis, that tells us that we have to distribute. So we're going to multiply here and here. So we're going to do a positive times a negative gets us a negative 12.41Y. And then we're going to do 12.41 times 79 is going to give us 980.39 plus 8.62Y equals 825. Alrighty, we have some like terms. So we're going to combine here and here. So we're going to put that in the calculator. We're going to put negative 12.41 plus 8.62. And we get a negative 3.79Y plus 980.39 equals 825. Now, how do we get this positive to the other side? We're going to do the opposite by, if you're sending it in your head, subtract. Beautiful. So we're going to subtract 980.39 to both sides. Okay. So we're left with, moving it up here, negative 3.79Y equal to, let's put this in the calculator, 825 minus 980.39. And we get negative 155.39. Okay. Now, last up. Whenever we want Y by itself and it's connected to a letter, they're multiplied. So we undo that by dividing by whatever with the Y. Okay, this cancels and we get Y equals, we're going to divide this by negative 3.79 and we get 41. So Y is 41. But hold on, we need an X too, right? So we're gonna plug this in. This 41 shares into our X. So we can find out how many shares we bought at stock A. So we put X equals negative 41 plus 79. And 79 minus 41 is going to give us 38. So we have, as our answer here, 38, 41. So stock A had 38 shares, stock B had 41 shares. Alrighty. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to hit that follow button, share it, and have a blessed day. And I most definitely will catch you on the next one. Bye.